In this video, we will discuss about erythropoietin. Erythropoietin is the drug, or we can say erythropoietin. Erythropoietin is responsible for increasing red blood cells within the body. So let us understand how this erythropoietin works in the normal uh, human beings. So whenever a body observes a hypoxia condition, and we have discussed this hypoxia and hypoxemia in one of our previous videos, in which hypoxia means whenever there is a less oxygen in the tissue, whereas hypoxemia means whenever there is a less oxygen in the blood. So in this case, whenever the hypoxia condition arrives, at that time the oxygen level is low within the tissue. So body needs to activate in a way that the oxygen content will be increased within the tissue. So what it will does is, how the system mechanism is designed within the body is that it will uh, increase the production of erythropoietin. And what this erythropoietin does is that uh, it will signal the bone marrow to increase the production of red blood cells. And as the red blood cell increases, so as we know from our previous videos, that red blood cell has the ability to carry oxygen into the different parts of the body with the help of hemoglobin, as one hemoglobin can carry uh, four oxygen molecules. That also we have discussed in our previous videos. So this bone marrow will lead to increase in red blood cells, and this increase in red blood cells will increase the amount of oxygen that can be transferred to different part of the body, and the tissue uh, that observe a hypoxia condition will be uh, replenished with increased oxygen content. And in this process, the iron also plays an important role to promote this erythropoietin. And what this iron does is, since iron is important component in the hemoglobin that is used to carry the oxygen. So decrease in oxygen will leads to increase in this hypoxia inducible factor, and decrease in oxygen will also lead to decrease in this iron content. As less oxygen supply is there, one the reason could be that the hemoglobin is not enough, and the hemoglobin is not enough. For this reason could be that iron, since the hemoglobin is directly related to iron, so when the hemoglobin is not enough, the iron is also not enough. So this will also less iron content will also cause hypoxia inducible factor. So let us now understand how this uh, erythropoietin can be introduced externally in case this normal homeostasis erythropoiesis hemostatic system is non-functional because of any reason. One of the reason could be that the kidney is non-functional, kidney is not functioning properly. So because erythropoietin is mainly released from the kidney. So what happens is that when the kidney is non-functional, it will lead to hypoxia condition, and that condition is called anemia condition, which is the less amount of oxygen available in the body. So in this case, the epotherapy can be used. Epotherapy is used nowadays. So what the epotherapy does, it will in epotherapy, the erythropoietin is developed using uh, recombinant DNA technology, and when the erythropoietin is artificially introduced, it will it will triggers the bone marrow to promote more mature red blood cells, and that red blood cells will leads or will carry the oxygen to the hypoxia, to the tissues that observe a hypoxia condition. However, before epotherapy, the epotherapy, the treatment that has been used to treat this anemia is the transfusion of the red blood cells. So, however, in that case, the amount of red blood cell transfusion required is very large, because a whole red blood, the amount of red blood cells need to be replaced is volume of red blood cells need to be replaced is large. Almost a complete red blood cell of the human body needs to be replaced, ideally, in ideal case. So this is the graph that represents when the transfusion treatment is used. So in that case, the effect of transfusion is not to that extent, because of large amount of transfusion of red blood cell required. So the condition of anemia is not improved to that extent, and the frequent transfusion of red blood cells is required in that case. However, when the epotherapy has been established, we don't need to externally, we no longer need to replace red blood cells. Instead, we just need to triggers the hormone that can initiate the increase in red blood cells. So, so and the amount of erythroprotein required is also low compared to the red blood cells transfusion required in the previous therapies. So after the hypotherapy has been established, red blood count cell within the body increases tremendously, and they don't no longer need to require frequent uh, hypotherapy as compared to the transfusion therapy. In transfusion, we inject red blood cells, whereas in hypotherapy, we inject uh, erythroprotein, theoretically, or erythroprotein made from recombinant DNA technology. So I hope you have understood the story of erythroprotein. If you need to understand this thing in details, you can go through the references that has been provided in these slides and also in the description. That's all for this video. Thank you for your time.